Hey folks, how's everybody doing out there? How are you? How's everybody doing? No Heather today. Heather's under the weather, so Heather, get better. Um, yeah, this should be a good show today. I'm looking forward to this one for personal reasons because I'm looking to invest in here. But just a couple things. Let me just get a couple things out of the way real quick. We are tinkeringwithtech.net. Tinkeringwithtech.net. You can go and you can join a community. We do have a private community that you can come and join. Come and see what it's all about at that website right there. You can see our shows listed. There's a live streaming guide that you can look at, so you can look and check out a show that you have. We really appreciate any of that. And as always, where are you from? Country, city, state. That's get all the legwork out of there because we got a lot to talk about, and I'm going to bring my guest on. Looking forward to this because and I know he has been too, so I'm going to bring him up right now. Ron Brown. Hey Ron.
Hello.
How
you
are
probably
you?
want to know why I have 4 robotic vacuums, right? Do I live in a dirty house?
Yeah. Why is that? Oh my goodness. Hey, and listen, Ron made, there's a lot to talk about. Obviously, you said that there's a lot to talk about. So if you can hold questions till, I'm going to give it a time. We're going to say 20 minutes after. That's when they can start adding questions. So that way I don't have to go searching for them and that kind of stuff. But there's a lot he's covering today, and I'm really excited about it. I really think I'm excited mostly because I want one for Christmas. so that's, there is a motivation there, so to speak. So, yeah.
We should answer. Yeah. We'll answer all your questions today. I should be able to get everybody, answer everybody's questions, tell them all about what this is about.
Yeah. And the other thing is too, is members, I see a lot of members have already come in. Members can meet in the backstage pass and we can talk about more there too. So I encourage you to become a member so you can do that. So yeah. All right, let's kick it off. You ready?
I am. You know, everyone wants a clean house, right?
Yes.
And as a physician, after all those years, people have asthma, they have respiratory problems. And I always talk about dust and houses, right? Dust, and you gotta vacuum and clean your house. Doesn't matter how old you are, young you are, whatever, you gotta clean your house. Now, I have a central vacuum system. I have a Dyson. I have a Miele vacuum. And I can tell you, in the 40 years I've lived in this house, it's the robotic vacuums do 100% better than you can ever do with any of those that I just mentioned. All right. This is not possible. And I talked to Michael earlier about this, and Michael understands it. And I'll discuss that a bit later, but it's not possible. I mean, if you want to do a really good job in cleaning your house and vacuuming, then the robotic vacuums are going to give you the cleanest and the best house, right? And and I'll tell you exactly why. But let me bring up, Michael, if you can just bring up the screen. I just want to show you just show you where we're going here. Let's see if we can bring this up. What this does is it shows you roughly the growth that we expect in robotic vacuums. In 2018, there was just about 14.2 million robotic vacuums in the United States. Much higher in Asian countries, but as you can see, as we go from 20 to 2027, we're just, these things are just taking off, and they're growing in leaps and bounds. There's about 1.2 million sales in the United States of these, and it's going up significantly. And now let me just go back here, and this is the
oh, thank you, Jim. Hold on a second. I got to do this. I do have to do this. Look at there. It is 11:10. It is the date 11:10. Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Jim. That's nice.
Now,
anyway,
what I want to talk about is, well, just briefly, I'm going to mention on this graph. Now, I know that it's hard to see, but the robotic vacuums have been around since 2002. And these are basically made by a company called iRobot. And you've probably heard about the Roomba. And this predominantly, if you look here, you'll see as we go back, it goes back to 2002. And I was listening to Colin Angle, who's the CEO and co-founder. And you know what? You know where robots were originally made, iRobots? They were made, he had a military contract, and they were minesweepers. They actually went out into fields and went crisscross the fields and figure out where the mines were. All right. So then they figured that they needed to, then they figured they were going to make children's toys, robotic children's toys. So
Gotcha.
they did that, and that had to be really durable, right? Because kids and toys, you know how they go, right? So then they figured, hey, we've got the algorithm. We know how to search. We can make these great products. Let's make a vacuum. And that's how they started, and they made vacuums. And of course, over the past 20 years, you all are familiar with Roomba, which is being the primary market, and that's in the blue here. But what I wanted to point out today is if you look at 2020, you'll see that the black here is at 18%, and this, of course, is Shark. And Shark makes vacuums, and they're really big time into robotic vacuums now. But if you look up here in the top, you'll see there's a whole bunch of other ones. So we're seeing a lot more in the industry, some very good vacuums that are coming out as competition to Roomba. So you have a lot of choice now. That was my main point of putting that slide up, is that we're seeing in the marketplace now a lot of really great technology that we're going to use. So let me, you can hide that for me. You can bring that down, and that's okay. So let me tell you how, let me tell you how they work. Okay. There's 5 classes that we're going to talk about today. All right. So the first class we're going to talk about is how do these things, they all go on a docking station. So they'll all have a charging plate that they're on, and they all come back there when the battery gets low, and they come recharge themselves. So that's not, and they don't fall downstairs. In fact, you can take them all and put them on a table, and they'll go around your table and they won't fall off. Okay.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do they work? So in the under $300 vacuums, this is the technology that's been around for a long time. It's based on, so the vacuum starts, so you push a button and somehow you get the thing going, and it goes charging off through the room, and it will come along to a wall, and there's a proximity sensor, because these things go quite fast. And in particularly the case of the Roombas, they're pretty heavy. You don't want them crashing into the wall. So the proximity sensor will say, okay, we're coming up to a wall. Let's slow down. And then it will come up and just touch the wall. No, it doesn't hit it, just touches it. And it knows there's a wall there. Okay. And then it might turn to the right, and it goes charging off to the right. And it'll go along there until it comes to another obstacle, that wall. And then it will slow down, and it just touches it. And it goes. And so I call this the bump and roll, right? It goes, and that's how it goes. It's all helter-skelter. It all is just random, going back and forth like a minefield, like they're going across a minefield, and it's just all back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And because it does it so much, it does a great job cleaning. And that's how the under $300 vacuums work. Now, they don't remember that. So when you turn them off and then they start up again, they do the same thing. And Roomba and Shark, and they all have that in the under $300 range. That's sort of what you're dealing with. They work great. They clean perfectly well. But that's just a very helter-skelter sort of, when you watch these things, you think, isn't that odd that they don't learn? You think after doing the same room 100 times,
right? Exactly.
They learn something, right? So no, that's just the under $300 range. Okay. So about 10 years ago, they decided to upgrade, and Roomba did it as well, and came in with what we call a smart robotic vacuum. And this is one that's got some intelligence, because what it does now is it's going to map your house out and figure out where your walls are and everything like that. That's cool. There's 2 types of, there was a company called, go ahead.
Thank you, Russ. Appreciate it. Okay. I had to do that. Sorry. Okay. Go ahead.
There was a company called Deerbot, which makes excellent vacuums, by the way. And they brought out LiDAR. Now, LiDAR, of course, is used in cars. And I'm just trying to look at my notes here. LiDAR stands for light detection and ranging. And we use that in cars now. All the sensors in cars, all your modern cars use LiDAR as proximity sensors, and it's radar. Okay. And so what Deerbot did is they brought out radar. And so the the vacuums would then the first thing when you turned them on, they didn't vacuum. They would just go around your house with the spinning radar, and it would map out your whole house, right? And it would figure out where all the rooms were and everything like that, and it would map it all out, and you would be able to see that as an app on your phone. All right.
Okay.
And that's and we call that LiDAR. And however, not to be outdone by that, the Roomba, which of course is the market share, brought out a different technology called VSLAM, VLASAM, and that stands for Visual Simulator Localization and Mapping. What the heck's that? And that basically, it's a camera, and the camera points up at your ceiling, and it takes an image of the ceiling, and that's how it figures out what
that's wild.
are. So it doesn't use LiDAR. So there's two, and both systems work well. There's you know, there it doesn't really matter.
Different. It's just a different way of doing it. Is all it is, right?
But hey, now this is cool because they don't do this all over the place stuff now, because they know where the room is, they know the perimeter, so they go back and forth in a more efficient way, right? So you can label your rooms. You can say this is the bedroom, this is the kitchen, this is, so you could tell the robot to do, hey, do the bedroom once a week, do the kitchen every night, do da-da-da. You can tell it what to do because it knows the rooms and what the numbers are. With the original, and this, so now we go up from $300 to $600. It's an extra $300, but the under 300, it's helter skelter. It just goes out and does its thing. So the next $300, you get the LiDAR, the VSLAM, you get it goes you can see it. It actually runs your vacuum quite a bit faster because it's not all random. And you can choose what rooms you want, right? So you can choose how you want it done.
Just a reminder, hey folks, ask your questions at the very end because he's trying to get through this. There's a lot of stuff to cover, so we'll talk. Get your questions at the end. One thing I was going to ask you really quick. So even the cheaper vacuum, it still won't fall off stairs. Somebody asked.
None of them do. None of them fall.
Okay. I just want to make sure on that. Yeah.
None of the vacuums fall off stairs. They all come with docking stations. When the batteries go down, they all go back home and charge themselves.
Okay, that's cool.
Doesn't matter if you get a $50
that's standard
vacuum,
no matter what. Yeah, got it. Okay,
standard.
all right.
They all do that. Okay, not a problem. So that's pretty cool. Now over so in that period of this intelligent navigation system, and there's a lot of flavors of this. That was sort of what in the last 10 years they've been perfecting that, and we've got a good. Okay, now then there's the third type, and we're going to call this the self-empty. I call this the self-empty because here's the deal. What you're going to find, and I talked to Michael early about this, you think you're doing a good job vacuuming, right? But you're not. When you get a robotic vacuum, the first problem you're going to have is it's going to do one room, go back to the docking station because it's full. You haven't, you got to empty the thing because you've got so much dirt in your house, you don't know that, right? So I'm sort of the stage in my life where, of course, I was a physician. I'm a scientist. I like to measure what goes into people and what comes out, right? That's sort of embarrassing, but that's sort of what I like to do. So with the vacuums, I like to look in the dustbin and see what's in there, right? But that's not, nobody else wants to. So what they've done now, so the next phase in receptacle, another vacuum. So basically what happens with these is it goes back to the docking station, but at the docking station is a great big vacuum. It's another vacuum, and it sucks all the stuff out of the robotic vacuum into a big machine, and then that you only have to empty that once every 3 months, right? So your vacuum will run around. As soon as it fills up, it goes and empties itself and keeps going, right? And then you just have to empty the big bin. And that's another $100 on top of it. So now we're getting a little bit more expensive, but that most of them now all come or have an option to get this larger canister, which is going to be self-emptying and just sucks all the stuff out, because you will find that, of course, is they fill up, right? And that's the one thing they need to be emptied. So that was the third phase in the evolution. Okay. Now the fourth phase is the one that's occurred in the last 2 or 3 years, and this is exciting because, as you know, if the vacuum is going around and you leave things on the floor, you have shoes on the floor. It loves cords or electrical cords, connecting cords. It loves to chew those up, right? So it would be nice if the vacuum would know what it's looking at. And and if you have a pet, can you imagine this? If you had a pet and you're not home and the pet has an accident, has a little poop in the middle of the floor, can you imagine your robotic vacuum coming along,
spreading that around,
and it's going to suck it up in there? It's going to smear it all over your kitchen floor. Then it's going to go and do your floors on your carpet, and it's going to be a big mess. So they now have, and this is now you got another $100 added on. So we're getting up now, but you now have forward-seeking cameras. Okay, so there's, in addition to all the things we've discussed, there's now forward-seeking cameras on this. And iRobot brought one out, the Roomba, called the J7, and it comes now, and it has forward-seeking cameras and will identify dog poop. No matter what type of dog poop is there, it won't go, it'll go around it, okay? Wow. In fact, they have, and I quote, they have the pet owner official promise, poop. That's called the pet owner official promise. If it does suck up any poop, they'll send you a new vacuum cleaner.
Wow.
Okay? They say that. So you buy this machine. If it sucks it up, they'll send you a new.
So they're pretty confident. They're pretty confident.
They're confident. So it's that good. So this is the final phase of the vacuums, in that they have a wide variety of them now have these forward-seeking cameras that will identify shoes and all sorts of different things that are obstacles in your house, and they won't go there. But of course, remember, going back to what I said in the second one with the intelligent navigation, you have the option of putting no-go lines in. In other words, you can draw lines in your app to keep the vacuum out of certain areas, right? So if you have a dog dish or a dish on the floor, you can just draw a circle around that and the vacuum won't go there. So that's another part of the intelligent navigation. So that's sort of the phase where we went. Now, and that's where we are. Now, the other thing that's happened, of course, you don't just vacuum your floors or your carpets, okay? You also mop them, right? So guess what? We do have vacuums that do mop, and I do have one, and I do use it, and it's made by Roomba. It's called the Brava, and we'll show you some pictures of it in a minute. And it mops the floor. So and that's pretty cool, and it does it. You put some solution in and so on and so forth, and it does a pretty good job. So now, of course, some of the companies now are making them. They're combining the mop feature with the regular vacuum feature, and you get a hybrid, like a hybrid car, right? I'm not too keen on those. I think they tend to be really expensive because you've got one machine doing a bunch of different functions, and if something goes wrong with one of those parts, it's a big deal, I think. So I tend to recommend to people they if you want the mopping, just buy one. Don't get a hybrid. Don't get one that's combined. I think that's probably not the best. And I think that's where we go. All right, do we have some time? I just want to show you my robots and what I have and the problems I had.
You guys go ahead and start putting your questions out there. We'll get to them in just a minute, but since he's going into the section, he's going to show you some pictures of some of the issues that he had and things like that. And I'll try and get back to some of the comments that we've had before. So there we go. All right. So let me get to the.
Let me get my. Can you show that?
Yep. That's what I'm doing right now. There we go.
So here's the three that I have. I have the. This is the one that is. This is the Roomba E6. This is the workhorse. This is a great machine to last forever. This is a smaller one made by LaFont. And this is a no-name knockoff, one of the cheap
You
ones.
can't see what you're pointing at. So the bottom
Oh,
left.
I see the top one, the smaller one, the black one.
Yeah, the smaller black one. Okay.
That at the top of the screen, that's made by a company called 𝐿aFont.
Gotcha.
And the one just to the left of the on the bottom on the left is called 𝐼𝐸. All right. And let me just show you. See the different sizes. Now, here's the problem that I had in my house, and you'll see what I do here. So the first problem I have is, who made my cabinets 40 years ago? They're not level. And so if you see on the right hand, that's the iRobot, and it's going under the lip of the cabinet. As it slides down and cleans my kitchen, it gets stuck because the cabinet's about 1/8 of an inch narrower at the bottom. So I wanted a different robot. I wanted one that you see to the left of that can go underneath and doesn't get stuck. So that's one of the things that I looked at. Okay. That's the first reason. Now I want to show you one more picture, which is a common one. And bring this up. All right. So this is our kitchen. And you can see that this is the chairs in the kitchen. Now, the problem with this is it's busy. There's lots of chairs, lots of legs, and I want it to clean the kitchen because that's where I eat. And sometimes I drop stuff on the floor and I want the darn stuff picked up. So the problem with the Roomba was, if you look at to the right, where you see that, where you see the one on the right-hand side there, it's too big. It won't fit under those chairs, right? So, but you look at the one on the left and it scoots under. And so the one on the left scoots all around and moves all around. The one on the right is the Roomba, and and it works great for. I use that for other parts of the house, but I leave this one's made by 𝐼𝐸, and it stays in the kitchen, and I just use it around the kitchen. Okay.
Do they have different size ones? Does Roomba have different size
No, that's the problem, Roomba. They're all the same size. They're all the same height. They don't make a thin Roomba, at least not one that I can find. So when you're looking at your house and you're looking for what you want, you have to be careful with that. And in this case, the chairs were a problem in the kitchen because I wanted them to go under the chair, and also that lip. Now, aside from that, no other problem in the house. It goes all over the place and everything works out well. So now, just on the last picture, I'm going to show everyone, which I wanted to do this one. If you look at the bottom of these are flipped over now, and you'll see the Roomba, of course, is, the other thing I want to tell everybody, if you want evaluations of all these machines, there's a site called Vacuum Wars, and the guy's great. He tests he's got hundreds and hundreds of tests he does standardized testing. He does really good testing. And so if you want all these models that I talked about today, he's tested them all, and you can look at the testing that's done. So Roomba always gets top marks on everything. And that's because it has a patented roller system on the bottom. You'll see on the far left there, those two green.
That's on the left, right? The left is the Roomba. Is that right?
Yeah. The one on the left with those two green rollers. That's that's their patented roller system. And that's great for carpets. Roomba just will suck anything up on a carpet. It does just a great job all over the house, right? If you look at the one in the middle, the 𝐼𝐸 one that I like, and that's the one I use in the kitchen now. It's more for hardwood floors. It's not, but it's a lot cheaper. It's around $150 rather than expensive, and it's got the single roller there. You'll see it's obviously not as elaborate as the one on the left. And the one on the right, which is the real cheap one, that's the 𝐿aFont, that little one I got, it doesn't even have a roller. It doesn't pick stuff up that well. It was a deal of the day, and I had to try it because it was only $100. I was going to send it back, but I leave it down in another room downstairs. It does a pretty good job on tile, and I just leave it downstairs in one of the rooms. But it doesn't even have, you see, it just doesn't do a very good job. It's cheap. It doesn't have a roller or anything like that on the bottom. So those are the bottoms of them, and that's how it looks. All right, that's all. Let's answer any questions we got.
Yeah, let's do it. I know, let's see. I saw Eric of Modern Day Tech came in. That's awesome. He was talking about, I don't know if you've ever heard of a luge, but he bought his first iRobot device, but it was a luge. That's a gutter cleaner. I don't know if you've ever seen those. I've seen those. Yeah. They're pretty awesome.
Well, iRobot's bringing out, they're going to call it the, they're going to bring out the, they're going to have this year, the prototypes there is just going to cut your lawn.
Yeah.
The Terra. It's called the Terra. It's called the Terra. And it's now Husqvarna's got them. I'm going to get one Husqvarna next year, and it'll do your lawn. But
saw it demoed. It's amazing. Yeah. That one's pretty incredible. That's pretty amazing. Huey says I bought a Shark 6 months ago. There you go.
Yeah. I said big Shark's moving into this in a big way, and so there's a lot of models of Shark.
Dear Myrtle said, what about a good Oriental rug on top of low pile Berber carpet? I think is what she's saying. So going from a rug, I guess a big Oriental rug onto a carpet, does it do that fairly well with transitions?
Yeah, again, it depends on the model that you get. Most of these will sense the carpet and adjust to the different types of carpet. So you'll find that the Roomba does a very good job on carpet. In fact, in Vacuum Wars, what he does is he has a testing box with carpet in it, and he weighs half a pound of sand, right? And he dumps the sand into the carpet, gets it all in there, sticks the robot in there, and lets it run for 20 minutes, and then measures the sand that it sucked out. And he does testing, and that's his sand test, right? And the Roombas almost get it all. They do a really good job in getting the sand up.
It says I like Eufy products. Jim says mine's a Eufy. Yep. And then Tiger Doug says, what about cat puke? Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, very interesting. I don't know.
They don't have a guarantee on that. Sorry, you're gonna have to get a dog.
It's dog poop. They got the poop. But I would think if something looks a little weird, it probably won't. We're getting into the J7 Roomba is about $800. So you're talking about not talking an insurmountable amount of money here.
Right. Mike says, so instead of watching hundreds of hours of Vacuum Wars, which model should I get for a no carpet house, hardwood and linoleum?
It's like saying to me, I want a car to drive to work and back. What color do you want? I don't know.
I think I would measure to find out how tall stuff is and how much you want to go under. That would be one prerequisite. After listening to you, that would be one of the things I'd want to check, right? I want to check that for sure.
And the other thing you have to do is you have to think a little bit about the complexity of your house. It is all fine and dandy to have all these very sophisticated devices, to have all this LiDAR, to have the VSLAM technology, to have all this stuff available. But if your house is fairly simple and you really don't need all that, it really drops the price way down. I have for the iLife one, it doesn't have any of that high technology. I went and bought a 2x4 at the lumber yard for $2.35. I cut it in half, and I got two 4-foot pieces. And that, if I don't want it to go into a room, I just put the 2x4 down in front of the door, and it just doesn't go in. It's a low-tech solution and so it works out well.
You have to remember to do that, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
For sure.
All right. What else we got out there? Anybody else have anything? Let's see. See if anybody else has anything. I like it. Mike said earlier, so an iRobot is bomb proof.
It is for sure. It was developed to be bomb proof. An iRobot, you can get parts anywhere in the world. They are all over the place. It's like, well, you weigh them. You feel those three an iRobot is pretty, a Roomba is pretty heavy. Eh? They make all sorts of parts for them and everything like that. But Deerbot is a great, they make great, it's a new company that started up about 5 years ago. They make very good vacuums. You see them all the time at Best Buy. That's another good one called Deerbot.
He says if I pick it up and carry it to another room, can it find its way back to the charger later? Okay. So it's all
and even the
programmed.
300, even the under $300 one, unless it's on another floor, it can't climb stairs, right? So,
Yeah, exactly.
So if it's on another floor, but yeah, you can move it around and it'll find its way back to the
that's
back to the
good.
charger.
That's good. Yeah. Excellent. So the thing I'm going to ask, I'm going to ask because I'm a Google guy. Am I able to use the assistant, or can I use the A one without setting everybody's device off? Can I use those for these devices as well? If I wanted to, hey, go ahead and start cleaning because I got somebody coming or something, can I do that?
They all are linked. Now I'm going to say there's a group of the cheaper ones that are there, and the iLife one is an example of this. It's not connected to your network. It's not Wi-Fi. It has a remote. So there's actually just a remote that starts it and runs it. And I thought I wanted something simple so that if I'm not there, I don't have my phone there, you can just hit the button and use it. Okay. And so those you can't, but all the other ones that connect to your Wi-Fi network for sure will allow you to use either, Miss A or they all work just fine.
Perfect. Great. Yeah, that's good. That's good to know. Because I'd love to be able to set up routines. You set up a routine, say, hey, I want to do this at such and such time or whatever. Be nice to be able to programmatically put that in, or even tell it that. So
you'll want to get one with intelligent. Yeah, you'll want to get one with intelligent navigation, right? You'll want to get one that will do the mapping of your house, and then you can choose what rooms you want done, when you want them done.
Like the hallway or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, I got you. Yeah, that's nice. I like that. Now, in my house, I have a bathroom that where we have transitions. Does it go over the transitions? Okay. Does it do that very well, or is there issues with it? Or, what I'm saying?
The only issue that you find sometimes, and I've seen this, is the color of the tile. If it's black, for example, someone was talking to the other day, and they had black tile in their bathroom, right? Black, like a black slate, like tile. And the thing, I think what happens when the Roomba comes up and it's going to go over that slate, it looks black or dark, and it thinks it's an edge or a cliff, and it wouldn't go in there.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah. So what we did is we put it in the bathroom and got it to the bathroom, and then it came out fine, but it didn't want to go in there. And I think that's probably because it was the black slate. Yeah.
Interesting. That's really interesting. Mike says, quickly looking at Amazon, it looks like prices have dropped in the last few years. Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. That is good. All right. If you have any other questions, ask quickly, because we'd like to get into the backstage pass. I know some other of our members would like to ask you a few things, because I know they're intrigued like I am. I know I am extremely intrigued, and I'm looking forward to this. So ask away if you got anything. If not, we can move on to the backstage pass. Remember, community members, you can join us. I will put the link in our message box that you get, and you can come in and we can chat. If you want to learn about tinkeringwithtech.net, there you go. That's the place to learn. Come in and learn about it. We just recently added a store, so you can even order some fun stuff. Oh, I love it. And Cousin Russ says, thank you, Ron, for your summary. Very nice. Very interesting, Ron. Never knew those options were available. Thanks, Miss Sheila. Nice job there. And Tiger Doug says, great program. There you go. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. No, that's awesome. Hey, be sure to check out Ron, though, because he does a lot of stuff with a group, Tech for Senior. I should have put senior, not seniors, right? Tech for Senior. It's a website. Also, you have a Facebook page over there. Definitely go check it out.
On Monday, and we have a show every Monday.
Every Monday and Thursday. I like the Thursday thing where you just roll through a bunch of stuff that you from your Facebook group. That's pretty cool too. I love that you do that. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. We could probably sit here and talk for hours and hours and hours, but we're not going to do that. Really do appreciate it though, and thanks you to Great show. Yes, good job, Ron. There you go. Jim Gold, good stuff. Everybody putting some good compliments up there. All right, thank you, Ron. I appreciate it, and we will see you in the backstage pass. Everybody, thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Hopefully we'll have a guest on, not sure quite yet. If not, we got some good topics coming up next week as well, especially coming into Christmas. So thank you, Ron.
Okay.
You'll be on again, I'm sure. Yeah, we'll see you there. All right. Thanks, guys.